G'day, I'm Tegan, and thank you so much for watching my channel. So far in this series, I've decided to buy a house in Italy and shared why I chose Italy and particularly the Salento region. In my last video, I shared why I didn't choose a €1 home, and you can check those videos out later. And now it's time to work out exactly what type of house I really want and where in Salento I want it to be. Sounds easy, right? Let's find out. G'day, my name's Tegan and I'm buying a house in Italy that I've never actually seen, in a place I've never been to, via somebody I've never even met, with a room that doesn't seem to exist. Click subscribe to follow my journey. So, like lots of women my age, after watching the movie Under the Tuscan Sun, I had this fantasy of finding and falling in love with an old rundown villa in rural Tuscany, impulsively buying it and then renovating it. But was that really what I wanted? The notion of impulsively purchasing a home in Italy sounds so romantic, but the reality is, once I started looking into it, I soon realized there are just so many different options, especially in the Salento region, to choose from. Did I want to have a 16th century masseria, which is like a fortified farmhouse in the middle of Puglia? Maybe. Or a modern apartment in the heart of Lecce? What about a house in the historic center of a little village somewhere? And then there's all those beautiful coastal towns. What about them? Oh my gosh, with so many amazing choices, I needed to narrow it down. So here's what I did. And the first thing I did was I had to decide on whether I wanted to buy a house to live in or as an investment. If it was an investment, then the location, the nearby attractions, the transport, the popularity of the tour for tourists would be all considerations. But if it was a home to live in, then it would be all about the charm of the town, the feel of the house, what features specifically were in the house. Now, because as an Australian and my husband being a Kiwi couple, we can only spend 3 months a year in Italy due to the Schengen visa requirements. So it kind of made sense to us to choose a property that could be both, something that we could live in when we went there and something that could be rented out. The next thing I needed to do was to decide on what type of house I wanted. And I grew up on a 4,500 acre farm in way outback Australia. So there was a part of me that really wanted the farmhouse masseria surrounded by either olive trees or a vineyard. But I also know my husband very well, and he would go nuts without a cafe nearby, and farming definitely isn't his thing. So we crossed that one off the list pretty quickly. And neither of us wanted a modern apartment in a big city because, well, as beautiful as Taranto and Brindisi and Lecce are, the hustle and the bustle energy just doesn't appeal to us anymore. Maybe in our 20s, but not so much now. And I like the idea of being part of a smaller community, especially after watching Chris from Super Savvy Travelers. Definitely check out her channel when you get a chance. She inspired me to want to be part of a smaller community. And then there was the consideration of like an ocean villa, maybe looking out over the Adriatic or the Mediterranean Sea. Sounds really nice, but as beautiful as the oceans are that surround the boot of Italy, the Salento region, nothing would ever really compare to the white sandy beaches of my hometown in Australia. So that one was crossed off the list too. So after some extensive soul searching, I finally realized that what I truly wanted was an old stone building in a historic town center, something that has it was rich in history and has lots of old world charm and old stones and beautiful star vault ceilings and just history behind it. Maybe even an old castle or a basilica, which is like a church nearby. That'd be pretty cool. So I want a place that is unmistakably Italy, so that whether I'm inside or I'm outside my doorway, there's absolutely no doubt that I'm in Italy. So if you hit subscribe on this channel, you're going to get to see lots of historic houses with hidden stories behind them from hundreds of years ago as I search for my dream house and beyond. Tell me in the comments below, what type of house would be your first choice or your favorite? Do you love the old charm like me? Or maybe you prefer something a bit more modern? Okay, so now that I've made the decision and I'm clear on what type of house I want, I now have to decide where in Salento I want to be. And this turned out to be much harder than I thought it would be. I've literally spent weeks, actually probably more like months, learning everything I can about each of the towns in the Salento. And there's quite a lot of them. I started binge watching all of Davide Mengele from Salento with Love, all his videos, especially the ones where he walks through the towns. I've searched out YouTubers who prefer to go off the beaten track and watch their videos on all the different towns and villages in Salento to get more of a sense of what it's like kind of walking around and trying to get a feel for each of the towns and villages. I've also found virtual walking tours, which were really great, of some of the places. And in others, I simply used good old Google to look for what was appealing in each location. So by typing in like the top 10 things to do in Gallipoli or best things to see in Galatina, it really helped me to get a sense of, you know, what's in each place. My evenings have been spent literally walking the streets of little towns in southern Salento via Google Street View. So completely literally, because as I said, I'm buying this house completely virtually and remotely. So one of my favorite inventions of all time is Google Street View. I absolutely love it. And I've become obsessed with learning everything I can about each town. And it's just been so much fun. And by doing all those things, I've managed to narrow it down to 3 larger towns, Nardo, Galatina, and Magli, and 3 smaller ones, Galatone, Cutrofiano, and Corigliano di Otranto. Now, I must apologize straight away because the pronunciations of these are probably all completely incorrect. And those of you that know, feel free to correct me in the comments below, because I've only just started learning Italian. So I've got a long way to go yet. So something else that I've also done is I've spent a huge amount of time in the Italian real estate websites. So there's Idealista, Immobiliare, and Gateway, or Gateway actually. And look, I've looked at literally hundreds and hundreds of properties, probably thousands by now, just trying to gain an understanding of what's available in each place and each town and what's possible. And you'll get to see this process I go through when I research properties in one of my next videos, when I'm going to take you through the 20 different properties that Salento with Love found for us to choose from. So try as I might to narrow it down just to one town, I simply couldn't. So I had so many questions I couldn't get answers on. And so what I needed was someone who really knew the area and could answer all my questions and guide me in the right direction. And this is where having some Zoom calls with Davide Mengele from Salento with Love was hugely valuable. And you can check out his channel. I'll put the link in below. He listened carefully to what we both wanted, my husband and I, and told us which towns he recommended for what we were looking for. And more importantly, he told us which ones to avoid. He gave us the skinny on all of them, basically. So having this insider knowledge is what made it possible for me to narrow it down to just one town and to be able to purchase a town remotely. You honestly, you can't do it by yourself. So best to get professional help. So tell me in the comments below which one out of those towns you think it is that I've chosen. And in my next video, I'll reveal it, where we'll start looking at the actual properties together and you can help me make a decision on how much I should actually spend on my house in Italy. So till then, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video the thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.